baby picture.
Yep, because this was where he loved to wear suits.
Go out with He's
You don't got nobody on there.
I just started, bro. Wait, as soon as I get bro, watch out. You ugly, bro. I gotta get some viewers going. Come on, viewers. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Come on. We need some viewers. We need some viewers. We need some viewers.
My name is Jalen Roberts. I'm the parent of Jalen Roberts, who lost his life to gun violence February the 5th, 2020. At the age of 19 years old, he was a very healthy, full of life young man. And it hurts to know that he lost his life at the age of 19. He loved sports. He loved football, soccer. His favorite was basketball. He really loved basketball. You couldn't tell him nothing on that basketball court. Like, seriously. He always made you laugh. He was so silly. Like, if you burped, it was just so funny to him. And, I miss that. Like, those are things that have been taken away from me. Things that I'll never get back. His smile. You see his pictures. Every picture that I find in the album book, there's a smile. They took that away from me. And not only me, he was not only just my son, but he was also a brother. He had two sisters. Really, he had more than two sisters, but he had sisters, nieces and nephews. He was a best friend. He was loved by everybody. The day that my son Jalen lost his life is a day that I will never forget. We talk to each other every day. I call him every day on my break. First break, lunch, last break, and on my way home. We talk every single day. And this particular day, I spoke with him, and I was supposed to go see him and take him something. And we talked, and I told him I would be there when I get off of work. I decided that I needed to go to the grocery store. And so I called him to tell him that I wasn't going to make it, over to his apartment. And, I would have his sister drop his gift off to him for me. And we talked, and I said to him, Jalen, I'm not going to make it over there today. I'll, stop by tomorrow. And when we got off the phone, I said, I love you, Jalen. And he said, I love you, Mama. And we hung up. This was basically our last conversation. I had no clue that would be the last time that I would hear his voice or even get to speak to him. But I just thank God that our last words were, I love you. I came home, I cooked dinner, I took a shower, And I was like, well, I'm going to lay down and go to bed because I had to get up and go to work. Um, Something told me to get on my phone. And I was like, my phone? It's like, pick up your phone. So I'm like, my phone? Because when I come home, I just throw my phone down. I'm not glued to my phone. So when I got my phone, I turned it on, and Facebook came on, and there was a page that came up, and it said four dead on East Side, and I was like, oh wow, you know, my prayers go out to those, you know, what happened. I put the phone down. Something said, no, pick the phone up and read that again. So I'm like, why? It's just something was just telling me. So I picked my phone up again, and it was still on there, and I read it, and it said quadruple murder, and it said they had a picture, and the picture was the street sign, and the street sign said Shady Oak Drive, and I was like, Shady Oak Drive, that's Jalen Street. Jalen lives on Shady Oak Drive. So at that point, I was like, let me call him to see what's going on. I got the phone, I called, and he did not answer. So I'm thinking maybe he's outside trying to see, what's going on. I called again, he didn't answer. I called about 3 or 4 times and he didn't answer. So I was like, something's not right. Let me go out here and see what's going on. So as I got in the car and I started to head that way, my phone started ringing. And that's when I got the news that it was his apartment, because at that time I did not know that it was his apartment. It just said Shady Oak Drive. It didn't give an address. It didn't say anything like that. And my phone started ringing. And at that point, I proceeded to go to his apartment, Carriage House East. And when I got there, they had the tape, they had the street blocked, and it was his apartment. I was devastated. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I literally asked the police officer like 50 times, are you sure? Is it the apartment? Are you sure the apartment at the bottom over to the right? And they were like, yes, ma'am. I just couldn't believe it, because we had just got off the phone around about 5:30ish, 5:45, and by 9, he had been murdered. And it wasn't just him. They murdered everyone inside his apartment. So it was him, his 2 cousins, and the girlfriend of one of the boys. That is probably one of the most hurtful things that I have ever had happen to me in my life. Like, at that point, I felt like it was my fault, because I was supposed to have been there. I was supposed to have went there. And I started blaming myself for everything. Like, just felt like it was just my fault. Like, if I had been there, I could have saved them. I could have saved him. Maybe things would have been different. But as I started thinking, and my spiritual side started kicking in, and started saying, that wasn't God's plan. God didn't want you there. That's why he sent you to the store. When you go through something like that, gun violence, murder, it traumatizes you. It does something to you. I'm not the same person that I used to be. Not saying that like I'm a crazy person, but my whole frame of mind has changed about life, about people, about friends. Um, I see life in a different side now. I see it differently now. See that it just made me realize how your life could just be taken just like that quick. Like you don't know when you're gonna go. You don't know how you're gonna go. And I still, to this day, I still thank God and I give God praise through my storm and the tragedy that I have experienced because God is still good. Um, I will not turn my back on God no matter what the outcome is. Uh, but I have to praise God. I have a lot of people ask me, say to me, "You're strong." I don't know how, how I wouldn't be able to do interviews. I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to do that. Um, my answer to that is I'm only strong by God's grace. What you see on the outside is God. If I were to peel open up the inside and let you see the inside, it's ugly. It's not good. I'm heartbroken. I'm hurt. But God spoke to me and he said, "Daughter, you have a light and I gave you a light. And I need for you to let your light shine because I need for the world to see my works through you. When you see me speaking and doing interviews and talking about Jalen and talking about the tragedy and talking about how it has affected my life, I could not be able to do this without God. This is God speaking through me and giving me the strength to be able to do this. I want to be able to let other mothers know that yes, it's hard, but you can get through it with God's help. You need God. We need God. Um, I want to talk about the choices that our young people um, make, the decisions, gun violence. Um, there has been a lot of gun violence since this has happened to my son. I thought maybe that this would be the end. I just thought that I just didn't want a mother or parent to experience this. But here in Indianapolis, Indiana, every day I turn on the news, there's a gun violence, quadruple murders, gun violence, gun violence. It has gotten to the point to where I can't even watch the news because it is making me feel like I'm reliving what I've already been through. And I know the impact and that it has on a family. When you take someone's life, you not only take that person's life, but you take everybody's life that person has an effect on. And not only that, you mess up your own life because now you're going to either do time in prison for the rest of your life or you'll get the death penalty. I feel like our young people need to make better choices. Um, I know it's easier said than done because from the time where I grew up, things were a lot different. Um, Now, I just feel like that there's in the home when you're being raised by a single parent, um, it's a little bit tough because I was a single parent. I raised Jalen as a single parent. But sometimes it's kind of hard for our young men to be raised by a mother and not have a father in their life. They tend to go to the streets um, because they feel like their mom or the mother don't understand what it's like to be a man. Um, we need, um, I feel like our young people need to be educated. Um, they need better role models in their lives. We need to educate them about jobs. We need to listen to them as parents. We need to listen to our young people. A lot of their time right now, I feel like this generation, they spend a lot of their times on the internet, social media. We have gotten away from family time, sitting together and talking and listening to each other. Um, Communication has been lost in the home. There's no communication because everybody's either texting each other or texting or social media, Facebooking, but we don't even know what's going on in our own homes. We don't know what our children are doing. Our children don't know what the parents are doing. As long as they are off in the corner somewhere with their computer or their cell phone, as parents, we're cool as long as they're out of our hair. Our young people need to know that we love them and that we care about them. Um, they need guidance. There's nothing for them to do. When our young black men, when they go to jail, juvenile, and when they get felonies, and when they come out, it's hard for them to get a job. They try to work, but when they work, and in order to get hired on a company, you can't have a felony. So I feel like they tend to go back to the streets. They can't get an apartment. We need to do better as far as trying to educate and give resources to our young people that have felonies, that have a hard time getting jobs, and homes, place to live.